Hey, this is Lady, and I'm back. What's up, y'all? How are you doing? I am finally back from my hiatus. If you don't know, my last video was posted in May. I took the summer off to plan a wedding and to go ahead and get married. That's right. I's married now. And if you don't know where that's from, shame on you. So I got married June 29th. It's been a little over 2 months now. Honeymoon, the summer has went by, all of those good things. And now it's time to settle in for fall. And so I wanted to share with you all what I've read since I've been gone. Because I've actually been keeping up with my reading. Excuse this wine glass. It's cute. It's not just a prop. It is well needed. I've just ended a 6-day work week. I got tomorrow off, and then Monday starts back over again. So I'm having me a little wine, y'all. Don't judge me. And I'm not just using this so I can show off my ring. I promise you, I'm not that type of chick at all. Not that type of chick. But I do love pretty stemless wine glasses. So, cheers to the weekend, even though it's already Saturday evening. My last video was about a books wrap up. So, I ended that one with reading the third compendium of The Walking Dead. So, the first thing I read this summer was the last 3 volumes of The Walking Dead, volumes 25, 26, and 27. I love them. That series, it gets better and better, but at the same time, I feel so bad for these characters. When are they going to catch a break? You know what I'm saying? And then today, I just started season 7, so I'm able to compare how the graphic novel differs from the TV show, which I think I like the graphic novel better. So after The Walking Dead, the first book I read this summer was Black Privilege by Charlemagne the God. He's a TV and radio host, personality for the Breakfast Club. If you're not familiar with him, Charlemagne is one of those people that people either love him or hate him. And I like him a lot. One of the things that I like about him is his honesty. I'm one of those very brutally honest type people, even if it hurts your feelings. And I know that sounds so bad, but I'd rather tell the truth, and I'd rather be told the truth. And when I tell the truth, I mean it, and it comes from a good place. And I feel like he's the same way. At least that's the vibe I get from him. Well, Black Privilege, Lord, I can't talk. Is it the wine? No, let me sit the wine down. Let me slow down on my sipping. Black Privilege to me is his coming of age story, where he talks about his different life lessons, and he actually I think it's 8 different life lessons that I think is really good. I really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I tried to pick up Kevin Hart's book right after that one, and I made it through like 60 pages of Kevin Hart's book, and then I just put it down because I just wasn't feeling it like I was feeling Black Privilege. With so much going on, my mind and with the world as a whole, everything that's going on, I decided to pick up some fantasy. Around this time, Musical Tati had talked about Strange the Dreamer by Lanny Taylor. I saw it in the library. I picked it up, and I really enjoyed it. It was my first book by her. I've heard great things about her Daughter and Smoking Bones series, I think it's the name of it. Heard great things about it. I enjoyed this one. I must admit, the first half was slow for me, but that second half, I really, really liked it, and I'm sure this is just the start of another series, and I'm here for it. I'll check out the next books. Now, the next book I'm talking about, I got to pick up this wine again. If you have not read Perfect Peace by Daniel Black, get your life, okay? I absolutely loved that book. I loved it. I That book is about a piece who was number 6 or 7 in a house full of boys. Mom and dad had 6 or 7 boys. I think he was either number 6 or number 7. Mama said she wanted her a daughter, so you know what? I'm just gonna raise this one as a little girl. And it just goes from there. It's just so good. You learn about all the brothers and their different lives, the mom and the dad, the people in the town. And yeah, I can't speak enough about Perfect Peace. I just cannot. I really enjoyed that. That was a 5-star book for sure. The next book I picked up was Zenzi Clemens' What We Lose. It's one of those books I got caught up in the hype. It was floating around BookTube and Bookstagram, and I decided to pick it up. I mean, while I enjoyed it, it was a fast read for me. I don't feel I would have missed anything had I not read it. You know what I'm saying? One of those type books. Okay, I read it. It was okay. It follows a daughter who mother is South African, and I believe her father is African American, dealing with the loss of her mom, I believe, to cancer, and just her story about it. For some reason, it was just lacking something for me. I'm not sure what that is. Her writing style was good, but it was just lacking something in my opinion. Next up, after that, I read Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, excuse me. That book will go down as one of my favorite family sagas. I love family sagas, a book that follows generations, like last year's Homegoing. Not comparison, no, not comparing this book in any way to that, but this book follows a Korean family. They start out in Korea, and subsequent generations end up in Japan, and how they are treated so badly. And I never knew that about their culture, but that was interesting to find out. And when you read a book like this that follows from the early 1900s all the way through the 1990s, and the author encompasses a lot of historical events, you know, that makes you then research those historical events, and that's always a plus. Also, with Asian authors, there's usually some like type of quietness. That's the only way that I can describe it, what I feel when I'm reading it. You'll enjoy it. I recommend Pachinko for sure. So again, after reading a fictional real life, you know what I'm saying, I wanted some fantasy again. So at this time, Ellen from I read it. She was talking about the Book of Phoenix. I love Okorafor. After reading Binti and Binti Home, I'm just a fan. I am a fan of her work. So I picked up Who Fears Death, which follows it takes place, it's a post-apocalyptic type story, and takes place in Africa. And this girl, the main character, her name means who fears death, and she has all of these powers. She is a product of rape, and that's all I'm gonna tell you about it. That book was so good, and if I try to give any more details, I feel like I would be giving something away. But it is so good. Fantasy written so well. So I'm just a fan of her writing from here on out. And I recommend it, and I can't wait to get to the Book of Phoenix, which I already have it checked out from the library. Next book I read, just like, I'll say this, just like What We Lose, it was a book that I had been seeing all around BookTube, Bookstagram. It's a new book, but unlike What We Lose, this book was absolutely 5 stars for me, and that will stay with me. I'm not going to butcher the author's last name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody has read it. It is on everybody's TBR, or it should be. That book was so good. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to more from this author. It provided a lot of twists and turns. And if you don't know, if you just so happen to not know, it follows a young Nigerian couple. They met when the guy, I think he was already working, but the girl, she was attending university, and they met, fell in love. 4 years later, they're still childless, and they succumb to cultural beliefs and things, and it just causes so much drama in their lives. And that's the issue that I have with like these cultural traditions, because people feel like their lives have to meet up to them, and so many new things, so many different things. You need to decide how you need to live your life, basically, and not let your culture decide for you. But 5-star book. I have learned that one telltale sign I know if it's a 5-star book, if I decide to tell someone all the details, usually Kevin, because he's the one here to listen. But I did that with Dark Matter at the first of the year, and with Perfect Peace, and with Stay With Me. At some point, I told him all the details of those books, and I know he's never going to read them, so he's like, well, I can dump it too. And that's usually, I can tell when it's a good book, when I just have to talk about every detail. And that's what Stay With Me was. That book was awesome. This weekend was Labor Day weekend, so that's supposed to signify the end of summer. Here in Alabama, we probably got at least another 2.5 months of warm weather, even though autumn is technically supposed to be here in a few weeks. But last weekend was a chill weekend for me, and I read Shelter. Shelter is by an Asian author whose name escapes me right now. And this is another book with these cultural traditions where people decide to allow them to govern their lives. The main character, his parents, they were abusive. And something happens to his parents, and now it's cultural traditions states he's supposed to take care of his parents. I mean, if you say so. I mean, you was abusive to me, now I got to take care of you in your old age. But I mean, it is your parents, right? It is your parents. But this one had a few twists and turns in it. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I ain't gonna say I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It went fast. I started that Friday, finished that Monday. I would recommend it as a fast read, but you know, it's just one of those books. It was good. That's how you say it. You know, it was good. The last book that I've read, which I forgot to mention before I got to Shelter, was The Brothers Karamazov. I read that with Rency over at Rency Read. She held a read-along every August. She chooses a classic. The Brothers Karamazov is a Russian classic. I read it I used half audiobook and I half read the book. If it was not for the audiobook, I would not have finished it. This book follows 3 brothers born to a father who is crazy. I wasn't expecting as much drama in the book. I'm talking about, like, it was a murder that took place. It was a love triangle that took place. A trial then ensued, illegitimate child, and all that kind of stuff. But it was okay. It was okay. I'm glad I read it. It was definitely me stepping outside of the box. I mean, picking up a Russian classic. That's not something I usually do. I'm glad I read it. Had I not read it, I don't feel I would have missed anything. But hey, it was good. It was okay. I'll put it that way. I gave it 3 stars, and I actually finished it. It was 700 plus pages, and yeah, I'm glad I can say I can check that off the list. I've read a Russian classic. That's it, y'all. That's a recap of what I have read. That's basically my reading life for the past 3 months. That's it. I think it may be some books that I started and stopped and did, I DNF, but I can't think of those right now because they were DNFs. But what I am currently reading, I'm not going to get up and go get it, but I am currently reading Behold the Dreamer. I'm about 75 pages in. If you don't know, Behold the Dreamer follows some immigrants from Cameroon, and the father, he comes and he lives in America for 2 years, saves up, and later sends for his wife and child. Now they're here in the States. It takes place a few months before, right at the beginning of, before President Barack Obama is inaugurated. And that's just where I am right now. They're trying to get full citizenship. That's all I know so far. So good. My reading has slowed down after I read Shelter. So I've been reading Behold the Dreamer slowly. So that's it. My next video will be a library haul because y'all, I have a lot of books from the library and I'll talk about those later. So I'm glad to be back. I hope you all have enjoyed this wrap up. I hope you all had a wonderful reading summer, and now we're ready for fall, which is, us readers, we love the fall so we can get cozy and, sip some tea and coffee and in our fuzzy pajamas as we read. All right, this is Lady, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.